So it still kind of works, right, to a degree. Now this is Mark for Death in action after last night's nerf. Now there was a reason I haven't covered Mark for Death in any videos, done any kind of a setup of Mark for Death since the release of the Heart of Deimos update. It's also a reason I never put any time or resources into it, because those of you who have played Warframe long enough will have seen this nerf coming a country mile away. In the simulacrum, it looked insanely strong, a controlled environment with a big group of enemies to pull together and instantly kill, but in reality it actually took some comboing between Warframes and weapons to get it working pretty well, and if truth be told, there are other Warframes that clear rooms way faster. Now, that doesn't make it any less painful when the nerf bat hits, or it doesn't reduce the anger from the player base. Warframe has a history, right? It is a game that in the past it has let its players spend time and resources into items only to then, quote, fix an item or an ability after it's been used to hell and back, with no return on any of the resources that were used. So player, I guess, trust is being eroded. In the eyes of a lot of players, why should they spend time on something if it's not going to stay that way, if it's going to get nerfed in a future date or not? And that's what this is doing, right? I see it every time I upload a video, and it's probably something other content creators see as well. It's something that has grown more and more over time. Whenever we show a setup off, we get comments like, fun detected, expect a nerf, or thanks Mr. Content Creator, you just got this shit nerfed. That's a polite way of putting it. Now, it started with a few viewers saying it, and then over time, as more and more nerfs hit, I get a good few of these comments nearly in every video, which I would love to say that content creators have that kind of power, but we simply don't. It simply comes down to the data that Digital Extremes themselves collect, showing a serious uptick in usage or popularity, which is also a bloody issue. It shouldn't be based on popularity, as well as multiple forum posts begging for Mark for Death to be nerfed over the last 2 weeks. So they have definitely played a huge part. Now, Digital Extremes themselves, in the wording of why this is being changed, have said that Mark for Death was an overwhelming nuke. So unless there is a lot of videos out there with nuke in the title, then I highly doubt that they had any part whatsoever in getting this ability changed. So what did they fix with this ability? They have fixed mods applying twice to Mark for Death, which was increasing the area of effect damage, allowing that nuke to be even bigger. They have fixed the damage it shared among the area of effect to other enemies. It should have been a portion of damage dealt and not the flat damage that you were dealing to the initial target. Radial damage wasn't meant to exceed the target's health apparently, so now it just simply doesn't, which means it could take several area of effect explosions to take down the group of enemies that you would have taken down with one shot previously before the nerf. They have also fixed arcane trickery from constantly proccing and putting you invisible, because every enemy that would be hit by that area of effect kind of damage explosion had a chance to put you invisible. So you would be more or less constantly invisible. So they have fixed that one. I'm going to keep saying fixed with quotation marks, even though you can't see me saying quotation or doing the quotation marks thing. Now, it still works, right? Mark for Death still works, but it's nowhere near as powerful as it was before. Mark for Death will work really well on Radial Finish Excalibur, either with heavy attacks or with a high crit damage weapon that's got that 12 times combo running, because apparently the 12 times combo scales your damage from the finisher as well. Viral and slash damage on your weapons will also carry across to the area of effect and get shared to all of the enemies affected by it, so make sure and mod for those, depending on line of sight, because line of sight plays a huge part with Mark for Death. Dead bodies can block the line of sight, which means something standing right behind it won't actually get blinded or won't get hit by that explosion of damage. The new Panzer Vulpaphyla pet, the infested kind of Kavat pet with its viral spores, is also a good option to bring if you're using Mark for Death. The Stalker's weapon, Hate, the Reaper Prime, a crit weapon like the Dual Ica, worked really good for me. Now, those builds, of course, all cost multiple form or multiple resources, very specific combos of abilities combined with very specific weapon builds that are then modded a very specific way. And the game already, like I said, has Warframes that can pretty much nuke whole rooms or large groups of enemies with ease. So why should you, I guess right now, some of you will be asking, why should you put any time into the helmet system, considering this has happened and they had pre-nerfed a lot of abilities before it ever went live? So should you expect Pillage, which is being used on a lot of Warframes, Warcry, Roar, Fireblast and other really popular ones in the game to be nerfed at a future date? And the answer is, I genuinely don't know. History has taught us that popularity is what they base a lot of these nerfs on, which is such a bloody terrible way of doing things. But that's beside the point. Mark for Death is another example of something being rolled out without what looks like any real testing, and then going ahead and letting the community use it, turning around and then saying, oh wait, no, we actually meant it to do something else, so we've changed it, we fixed it, okay, that's our bad. But yeah, as always, thanks for watching.